What's going on, GBA universe? This is TheUziGunner here bringing you people the very next episode of Trainer Cards. Now first off, I'd like to apologize for no episode last week. Due to some unavoidable circumstances, both on my side and the person I was initially supposed to cover, there was no episode, and unfortunately I couldn't find the time to cover up for it later on that week. But thankfully, this show is back, and as far as today's episode goes, we're going to be taking a look at a very respected draft battler with top tier records and accomplishments, Monotooi. So with the formalities out of the way, let's get this show on the road. Monotooi is a man who made his debut in draft format in a tournament known as the NPT. He managed to go on to win the entire tournament and make a very solid first impression. Since then, he had his first season in, ironically, the Season 1 of the PPL Division 2. After competing there for 4 straight seasons and even getting promoted to Division 1, he made his debut in the Season 6 of the GBA, replacing former player Gubbs, and is now competing in his 3rd straight season, which followed with 1 season in the TBU, and both NPL minors and majors give him a win-loss record of 66 wins and 29 losses, which equates to a glorious winning percentage of 69.5. Throughout that run, he's managed to win 2 titles, both in the PPL, and made it to the playoffs a total of 5 times, showing that he for sure is one of the top guys to beat in draft format. As far as the type of teams that Mono likes to use goes, these two would be the perfect example to demonstrate his style. Throughout the majority of his draft run, Mono has always been a fan of drafting bulky offense with hazard stacking options, hence why you see a common trend in spikers such as Ferrothorn and Fortress. Add that with the obvious Volt Turn options and the scope to be able to run a variety of sets with such rosters, it gives him full liberty to run the optimal sets needed to cop the W's and never be forced to run one certain set on his mons due to poor drafting. Oh, and he drafted Abra. What else is there to say? It's no secret that with the records he possesses, Monotooi has been able to use these Pokemon exceptionally well. However, if there was a Pokemon that he managed to put in the most work with, it'd have to be none other than Megalopunny. That's right folks, despite him drafting it only twice, he's managed to secure a total of 44 kills and only 7 deaths, which is outright mental. Throughout his 2 times drafting it, he's always had the perfect team support to execute his game plan. It meshed in with his building style very well, in the sense that he'd be able to create a proper squad almost every single time to whittle down the main checks to it before eventually picking a spot with it and having this furry bait to do all the rest. That proper idea of knowing when to bring it and not suddenly have it do things it's not meant to do in the first place, which combined with the other mentioned factors is the reason why he was able to get a total of 23 and 21 kills respectively in those 2 seasons. And with very impressive feats like that, it is completely understandable why Megalopunny is his most successful mon in draft format. And now for the final segment of the video, let's talk about Monotooi as a battler. What truly makes him a very solid and formidable draft battler is his building. You see, if I were to look at how he plays his games, I barely see any instances where he makes aggressive plays left and right and throws his opponents for a loop. Instead, he does end up playing rather safe, and the reason why he still ends up coming out on top most of the time, regardless of that, is because of the fact that his builds are severely well done. He makes his teams in such a way and has such a great idea on how to properly make it function that he doesn't even need to make any over-the-top plays to keep dictating the pace of the match and eventually take home the victory. Of course, he definitely is not afraid to make some predictions should the situation become rather dire and adjustments need to be made. But with that being said, if there was a weakness that I think still exists within Mono to this date, it'd be the belief that sometimes he plays way too safe. Yes, he may know how to change up his style at times, but I wouldn't necessarily say it is on the level of extreme predictions where, for example, he'd stay in on a mon that his current mon has obvious bad matchup against, expecting his opponent to double out and catch him on the attempted prediction. If his opponent is able to fully catch on to that set style and has the needed level of great prep to be on par with Mono, and is able to exploit it fully, that's when Mono has an extremely tough time coming back and winning. That, along with some extremely unorthodox innovative prep, is what I would call his biggest weakness. However, as mentioned before, most of the time, his building and properly being able to stick with his game plan comes through for him in most occasions, and is genuinely one of the main reasons why he is one of the best battlers in the GBA roster. That ability to barely be on tilt is in itself what I respect the most about him, and I genuinely believe that should he take the initiative to make the needed changes in his style, the chances of him becoming the GBA champion are extremely likely. So with that being said, that's the end of this episode of Trainer Cards. Once again, I'm sorry guys for not being able to upload it last week, but as always, I promise you that this series will not stop anytime soon until I cover all the coaches for this season of the GBA. Thank you very much for all the support you've been providing to this series, it really means a lot, and with that, if there's anything you want to say about Monotooi and the Tampa Bay Luxor race, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I'm your host, TheUziGunner, and I'll see you all next time. Peace!